Hello, my name is Teddy, and today we are going to look at operators in Python. Operators are simply used to carry out operations on values and variables. For example, 1 plus 1 equals to 2. That's an arithmetic operation. Plus is an arithmetic operation. And then if you say x equals to 1, y equals to 1, those are assignment operations. Then if you say z equals to x plus y, you are combining both assignment and arithmetic operations to get the value of z. So before we get started, kindly subscribe to my channel, like, comment, also click on the notification icon to get updated of any new upcoming tutorials. So we're going to look at arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are simply operators used to carry out operations on values or variables in Python. So they are simply mathematical operations for carrying out addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and floor division on Python values. So we're going to start with addition, which is represented by a plus sign. So I'm going to say variable x equals to 1 and variable y equals to, let's say, 2. So when you add the 2, what do you get? So if you say z equals to x plus y, and then if you print z, which is your final value, print simply means you are going to output the value. So what do you get? If you run this, you're going to get a 3. So 1 plus 2 equals to 3. So we use a plus sign to do addition in Python. Then we're going to look at subtraction. Subtraction is represented by a minus sign. So if you want to minus two values in Python, use a minus sign. So we're going to say z equals to y minus x. So this gives us, when you print z, so let's just comment these two. If you print z, what do you get? You should get a 1. Let's see. So here is a 1 value. So that's subtraction. So next, we are going to look at multiplication. So for multiplication, I'm going to change this x and say x equals to, let's say, 4. So multiplication, we use multiplication. We use this star sign to do multiplication. So I'm going to say z equals to x times y. So if you comment this, say, let's print or output our value of z, should be able to get an 8. So here we have an 8 as our value. So that's multiplication. So next, we are going to look at division. So this division is dividing two values. So we use a slash sign, forward slash. So we're going to say z equals to x over y. So if we print z, we are going to get, should be able to get a 2. So we get a 2.0. So that's division of x over y. If you want to get the remainder, we use what we call modulus. So we have to do modulus. So we use a percentage sign. So we're going to say z equals to x modulus y. So if we print z, what are we going to get? But to get a 0, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, the remainder is 0. So if we change this to 5, the remainder should be 1. So let's see, the remainder is 1. So that's what we call a modulus. Next we're going to look at floor division. Floor division in Python. So floor division, we use two front slashes. So to demonstrate that, we're going to say z equals to x front slashes y, which is floor division. If we print z, what do we get? We get 2. So 5 divided by 2 is 2.5, but the lower value is 2. So that's what we mean by floor division. We get the lowest integer. We could have rounded up to 3, but our floor division tells us to use the lower value, which is 2, which is an integer. Finally, we are going to look at exponentiation as part of an arithmetic operator. So we're going to, it simply means x power 2, x power y. So x can be any value, then y can be any value. So we are going to look at exponent or exponentiation. So we are going to say z equals to x power y, right? So what's our value of z? So exponential is simply uses the double star sign. So if you comment this and run, what do you get? 25. So simply we're saying 5 power 2, which is 5 times 5, is equal to 25. So if you change this to 3, we are going to get 125. Because 5 power 3, which is 5 times 5 times 5, we get 125. Next, we are going to look at comparison operators. Comparison operators normally compare 2 or more values. If the result is true, you carry out a certain operation, else you carry out a different operation. So we are going to start with the equals. We are going to compare two values. If they are the same, then we print those values are the same. So I'm going to say if c is equals to d, then what do? We print c is equal to d. If we run this, what we are going to get is c equals to d. Then we are going to look at another operation. We are going to check if let's say a is less than b. So we are going to say if a is less than b, what do? You print a is less than b. So if you run this, you are going to get a is less than b. So we're also going to look at another operator that says greater than. So we're going to compare two values and say if c is greater than b, then you print c is greater than b. So if you run this, you'll see that it's true, so you output this function. What if it's false? You won't get any results. We are also going to look at another condition which says, let's comment this, which says if c is greater or equal to d, then you say print c is greater or equal to d. So if you run this, what are you going to get? C is greater or equal to d. Another condition will be if c is less or equal to d, what do you get? So if you run this, then let's change this. C is less than or equal to d. If you run this, you're going to get the same result because c is equal to 5. And if we say c equals to 4, if you run this condition, it's still going to be true because c is less or equal to d. If we say give c an 8 and run this, what are you going to get? You're not going to get anything because c is greater or equal to D, because it has a value of 8. We are also going to look at another operation where we're going to say if C is not equal to D, let's give it some space here, then we print C is not equal to D. So if we run this, what do we get? C is not equal to D, which is true. So these are not equal sign. So basically that's what we have on comparison operators. So next we're going to look at assignment operators. Assignment operators are normally used when you want to assign the value on the right hand side to the variable on the left hand side. For example, a equals to 10, you have assigned the value of 10 to a variable a, similar to b equals to 5, and similar to c equals to a plus b. So we're also going to look at if you want to add c to a, you're going to say c plus equals to a. What we have done here, we have taken c as a variable and added to a, and the value that we find is assigned to c. So this is similar to, if I just comment here and say it's similar to c equals to c plus a. So if we print, let's print c, what do we get? We get 15. What if now we print c plus equals to a? What do we get? We're going to get 25, because we are saying the value that we've got here at c equals to a plus b, which is 15, we are adding to 10, then we're going to get 25. So next we're going to look at multiplication. We're going to say c times equals, let's say b. So what's the value of c? We're going to get 125. What we have done here is we have taken the value 25 multiplied by value 5, then assigned the resulting 125 value to c. So this is similar to saying c equals to c times b. So I hope you are following. So for division, we're going to say c divided by, let's say a. So it will be c, the value that we found here, 125, divided by a, which is 10. So what are you going to get? If you run this, you're going to get 12.5, right? So I hope you are following that. Then the next sign is subtraction. So I'm going to say c minus equals to, let's say a. So if we print our value of c, what are we going to get? 2.5. What we have done is the resulting value of 12.5 minus a, which is 10. So we are going to get 2.5, what we have here. The final one is with a floor division. So we are going to say c floor equals to, let's go with a. So if we print c, what are we going to get? I'm going to get 0. Why? If we have a final value of 2.5, which is c, divided by a, which is 10, we are going to get 0, and the lower value of 0 is is 0. So that's what we have here. So we can also change and say, we can say a equals to 2. So what will be the resulting value is 1. So 2.5 over 2 is 1.25, which is the floor of that is 1. So another operator that we're going to look at is modulus. So I'm going to say C, which is let's change this value of C equals to 10. Then we say C modulus equals to A. So let's say A. So the remainder will be, so it's 10 divided by 10. What's the remainder? The remainder is 0. So 10 over 10 is 1. It remains 0. So basically that's all with the assignment operators. So next we are going to look at logical operators. Logical operators is where we check if both values are true, then we fulfill a certain condition. Else if one of the values is false, then we also fulfill a certain condition. So we are going to use 3 operators. The first one is AND, the second one is OR, then the other one is NOT. So let's start with AND operator. AND operator is where if both values that you are checking are true, then you return a true. Else if one of them is false, you return a false. So let's say you have two values, A equals to 1, B equals to let's say 2. So if we use an AND operator to check if the values are the same, so that we fulfill a condition, we can say if A is equals to 1 and B is equals to 2, then do what? Print true. So if we run this, what are we going to get? We're going to get a true value. So if we change this and say B equals to 3, then what are we going to get? It's going to be a false. So if you put an else here and say print false, then we're going to get a false because B is not equal to 3. So this condition or this logic is not met. So next we are going to use an OR logic. An OR logic is whereby if one of the values is true, then you return true. Else if both values are not true, then you return a false. So we're going to say if A is equals to 1 or B is equals to 5 or 7, print true. Else you do what? You print false. So if you run this, you're going to get a true. So that's a true statement because either one of them, which is equals, A is equals to 1, but B is not equals to 7. So either one of the conditions is met, so you return a true. What if we say if A equals to 2 or B equals to 7, we are going to get a false because none of the conditions is being met. So next we are going to look at a NOT operator, which reverses the logic of the AND operator or the OR operator. For example, if you say print A and B, what are you going to get? You're going to get a 1, which is true because A equals to 1 and B equals to 1. If you say not A and B, you're going to get a false because it has reversed the logic of A and B, which was true, now it's false. So next we're also going to look at membership operators, where we check if a certain value is in a sequence or it's not in a sequence. So we're going to use in and not in. For example, you have a list which has values 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. Then you say if let's say if 5 in A, print found, else print not found. So if you run this, you're going to get it's found because 5 is in A. And then we are also going to say we're also going to use not in. If 5 not in A, we're going to say not found, else found. So if you run this, you're going to get found. If you use a value like 9, I'm going to say not found because 9 is not in A. So this statement is true, then you get a not found. That's what you have on membership operators. Next, we're going to look at identity operators. Identity operators check if two variables are the same. So it normally checks the memory locations if an item X is in the same memory location as an item Y. Simply means if two next we're going to look at identity operators. Identity operators normally compare if two values point to the same memory location. So for example, if you have X equals to 5 and Y equals to 5, if you say if you print X is Y, then if you run this, you should be able to get a true. Why? Because 5 and 5 point to the same memory location. If you have another value like A equals to high and B equals to high, if you print A is not B, since high and high point to the same memory object, if you say it's not, it's going to return false. Why? Because the opposite of true is false, because they point to the same memory location. So if you say A is B, you're going to get a true. If you put a not, it negates the value and it gives you a false. So basically that's what we have on identity operators. That's what we have on operators. Kindly subscribe to my channel, like and comment. If you have any question, kindly put in the comment section. Thank you.